We are the original Saturday Menudo Club, except no substitutes. Ya no más.
The views and opinions expressed in the Saturday Menudo gatherings, livecasts, or videos do not necessarily reflect the views of the club, its sponsors, the hosts, or its supporters. All content is for information and entertainment purposes. We do support free speech.
Appeals. Those of you who don't know, the first Court of Appeals covers 10 counties. So it's all of Harris County and all of Fort Bend and all of Galveston and Brazoria and a whole bunch of others. And so when I said I would be here, I didn't time myself right. I'm supposed to be in Needville in about an hour and a half, so I wanted to say something now, right? Okay, Todd Frankfurt, running for the First Court of Appeals. I've been in private practice for over 30 years. I'm the only board certified lawyer running for this position. I have represented families, I've represented individuals, I've represented landlords, I've represented companies. Now I'm board certified as a family lawyer, handling divorce and child custody and things like that. But in my prior life, I was a business lawyer and I represented the people, like the boots on the ground, the people who are running the businesses. So I understand what it's like to sign the front of a paycheck, not just the back. And I will take that experience, that real estate, that corporate, that just civil litigation experience with me to the Court of Appeals. And I will stick to the letter of the law 1,000% of the time. That's what we're there for. We're there to interpret the law, not to change it. That's why we have legislators. Right? So, May 26th, the runoff election, I got 43% in the primary with 4 people running. The next guy back got 20-something%. So I got to keep the momentum rolling into the end of May. I'm really tired. I have an English bulldog named Petunia Jane who doesn't like me very much right now because I'm never at home. But it's okay. She'll be happy once I win. She only barks at Democrats. Okay, so I'm sorry?
That are well trained.
I do have a well trained. So Todd Frankfurt, May 26th. Early voting starts May 18th, and I appreciate all of your support. I left some cards here with my endorsements and stuff like that on the back. Love to. You can reach out to me through the information on the card. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer. But I got to go. So good to see you guys. Thank you all very much for having me.
Thank you, Todd, for coming. Drive safe. We're going to be out later that way. We're headed to Lake Charles.
Oh, good. Have fun.
Take care. Good luck on the campaign.
Thank you. Yeah, good luck.
Okay, everyone. We do not have a microphone, so for the candidates that are going to be speaking today, you can use your inner loudest voice. My name is Carmen Cavazos. I want to thank you for joining us today. This is our expansion of the Saturday Menudo Club. Time out. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. This is our expansion out into Baytown. We currently serve several regions in Harris County and in Stafford. So we want to come out. We want the candidates to get engaged and get involved out in Baytown. We know how important it is for all of our candidates to be represented in areas throughout not only Harris County but outside of Harris County as well. So thank you very much. Once again, my name is Carmen Cavazos. We have several co-hosts here. Cruz is one of our Saturday Menudo Club co-hosts. She is the one that brings all of our beautiful decorations. She is the backbone of making sure that our club is well represented decoration-wise, and also she is our contact person for event coordination. So if you have an idea, if you're a candidate, if you're a community activist, cannabis that wants to host us or us to host you at a certain event, Ms. Hope is the person to get to with that information and she'll make it happen. We also have Ms. Claudia Gouveia here. Claudia, she is also a part of Latinos for America First, and she shares some of her time with us here at the Menudo Club. So we greatly appreciate Claudia. Claudia is also a part of our donor sponsor program. So if you have any sponsorships that you want to talk about or any type of donorship, she would be the person to contact. Andy Valadez, he is the founder of the club. He is not here today. He's out at a leadership retreat, but he sends his warmest love to everyone. This club is not about us. This club is about the people. It's about the candidates, and that's why we're here for you. So thank y'all again for coming. We have a couple different segments throughout the Saturday Menudo Club. One of them is called Stir the Pot. And what it is, it gives you the opportunity to come up and to let us know what are the issues in your community and how can the candidates help in these issues. Is it talking about maybe local crime? Is it talking about how to get a street light fixed in your community? Or is it just having your voice heard, concerns, critiques? So that segment again is called Stir the Pot. That would happen. Ms. Claudia is going to lead that off in a bit. Our club is a Christian-based club, so we like to always lead off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we like to also say a quick prayer. Ms. Hope, if you could lead us in that, please, and getting some volunteers.
Welcome, everyone. We'd like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Can I get someone to volunteer to lead us in that? If not,
A pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
okay. How about someone lead us in prayer? Anyone?
I can pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day that you've given us, Lord. We thank you, God, that we are gathered here in Baytown, in the city of Baytown, making a change, God. We ask you that you lead us, God, in the best way, God, that you lead the Menudo Club and all the co-hosts and all the great people that are here, God, all the people that are running for office, God, that you help them, give them wisdom, give them knowledge, give them discernment, God, as they lead this city, their towns, their counties, in your way, God, and I ask you that you bless each and every one of them, God, that you outpour blessings upon each of the candidates, God, that you also provide funding, that you bring the right volunteers, God, that you bring the right people to them, God. In Jesus' mighty name, we thank you, God, and we honor you today. Amen.
Amen. Thank y'all very much. So we're going to be moving forward. I wanted to let y'all know our club does have a website. It's www.saturdaymενudoclub.com. On there, you're going to find a lot of information. If candidates give us events that they want us to post, we'll upload that. We also feature future events, like we're having a huge Cinco de Mayo celebration. It's going to have more of a ceremony awards feel to it, and we want to recognize people in our community that have led created a path for future generations. Mr. Roy Morales is on our awards list. Mr. Orlando Sanchez is also on our list. Mr. Frank Salazar is on our list. So you can join us. May 2nd, we're going to be at El Tiempo on Navigation. We're going to have more than just that. We're going to have celebration of culture and community. So we invite you again, that is on our website at SaturdayMenudoclub.com for those of you that want to visit our website. So we have a very interesting meeting today. What I mean is we want to focus on candidates that belong or are a part of this community. That's why we found it very, very essential and very critical that people came out to hear the message. I know Mr. Frank Salazar is one of our speakers today. He's actually one of our keynote speakers. And what that means is this area, to my understanding, has not had a Republican state representative in the area for many, many years. Over 20 years. So we find it very, very important to get his message out, to get the message out of congressional leaders like Mr. Morales, and also Harris County to get the message out from Mr. Orlando Sanchez. We want y'all to hear that. We want y'all to take it out into your communities and then contact them directly to their campaigns or contact us. See how we can help, because this club is not just about talking. This club is about solutions. And again, this club is about you. So I want to go ahead and open up the floor. We're going to have Mr. Roy Morales come up and speak about his campaign. Now his is congressional, which means it's a larger area, but this gentleman is everywhere. He is from one end to the other, and he wants you to know that he is here for you. He wants to hear what your concerns are. And with that, Mr. Morales, if you could come up, please.
Sure, thank you.
And if we can have you address up here, Roy, and I could report you, please.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Roy Morales. I'm a retired lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force. I enlisted when I was 19. I retired in 2002 as a lieutenant colonel. I've had the opportunity to travel the world, see many cultures, and it's important to get an understanding that people around the world do not think like us. We make that big mistake. And so when it comes to foreign affairs, you have to understand that. And the big reason is, yeah, we carry a big stick, but we got to be careful with when we put our children in harm's way. And I call them children. They're adults, but they're our children. They're our grandchildren. And we need somebody with that experience. I am running for Congressional District 9. Now, if you lived in Baytown back in 2010, I was the Republican nominee in that race. I beat 5 other Republicans. I ran against Gene Green, if you remember that Democrat. We did the best that any candidate had ever done against him. Well, I'm back. But I'm back as an independent, which means I'm already on the ballot, okay? I'm in the tournament already. I didn't have to do a primary. I didn't have to go through that game facing certain people in River Oaks that want to take over Baytown, take over Pasadena, take over a second ward. I'm not going to let that happen. But I want to make sure that you understand this. I'm a conservative independent. That's what they're calling me. I am no Bernie Sanders, let me tell you that. I'm the opposite of that. You know, I believe in the sanctity of life. I believe in lower taxes. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the Fourth and Fifth Amendment. I believe especially in the 10th Amendment, which gives the states their rights. So I want you to understand where I stand. Now let's talk about what we need in Congressional District 9. The first thing is we need to make sure that this economic engine, Pasadena, Baytown, East Side, oil and gas is what makes up that district. That is the energy corridor for this whole country. Did we take Venezuela? Yeah. Do we now have more heavy crude? We got to think about how do we refine that heavy crude? Because a lot of our refineries went to light crude. Exxon is still heavy crude. We need to ease the regulations on developing new refineries. We're growing. We're now over 300 million people. We cannot exist on the same number of refineries. But think about this, what we get out of heavy crude. And people don't know this. Out of that heavy crude, 1 barrel has 10 pounds of sulfur. You go, what's the big deal with sulfur? This is why, whole new economy. Sulfur provides asphalt. Sulfur provides pharmaceuticals. Sulfur provides pharmaceuticals, like I said. Oh, cosmetics for you ladies. Probably didn't know that. There's many refined products from that. It's $1 trillion industry for this country. But let me point out one thing that the only candidate that's running for Congress in this whole country is talking about, because they're all scared to, but they better wake up. It's called the Social Security Trust Fund. Anybody on Social Security? Few of you. Are you aware that the Social Security Trust Fund in 2032 is gone? Have you heard about it? OMB, 2032. What does that mean? That means, as baby boomers, all that money you paid into Social Security, Medicare is going to be reduced. If you're getting now $1,000, Okay, out of Social Security, 2032, it's going to go to $770. Can you live off that? Is that going to have an effect on the way you live? Of course you are. Why is that? 40 years since Ronald Reagan have they tried to fix this. Now, remember, I said no candidate. All the Congressional District 9 candidates probably can't even spell Social Security Trust Fund. Okay? They need to understand what's happening. And we can solve this. I'll give you one example. And you're gonna go through the roof when you hear this. There's a cap right now on Social Security as far as contributions. It's $184,000. What does that mean? If I make $184,000, I'm going to put in 6% of my payroll tax. If I make $200,000, I'm still going to pay 6% of the 184. Even if I'm making more money, that's why it's broke. Because it's not fair to others. Someone making $50,000, $100,000, we're going to take 6% away from you. But if you're making $500,000, you're only going to take 6% out of the $184,000. I've got a plan in other areas to fix that, to start reclaiming more money, so our government stops stealing that money from you in 2032. It's a hard discussion to talk about because both sides aren't talking about it. And that's why I'm running as an independent, because we got both sides in Washington that don't want to talk about this. I've talked about we've got to make sure that we protect our air from floods. We've got to make sure we have police officers on the street. We've got to make sure that they follow our national laws, like what Houston tried to do the other day, and strip some of that from HPD to talk to ICE. It's not right. We've got to follow the law. We've got to make sure that we grow our economy. We've got to be able to provide just the basics. Fuel, food, clothing. Inflation is going to kill us if we don't fix it. I'm running for you. I am running against those that want to take this district. It is 54% Hispanic. Repeat that. 54% Hispanic. And we need to make sure that all of the communities here in District 9 are represented. I'm Roy Morales. I'm running for Congressional District 9. On May 27th, if you didn't vote in any primary, you can sign my paperwork and put me on the ballot. With that, I'm open for questions.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Morales? I have a question, Roy. How can people help with your campaign? Are you anticipating to do any block walks or maybe any volunteers to help make phone calls? Are you in need of any of that?
That's why I've waited to put up my website. It's going up within the next couple of weeks. I didn't want to tip off too much of what's going on because in the first debate I did in Deer Park, they started taking my ideas on the Republican side, and the Democrat side too. We've got to make sure, and any elected official in Congress needs to make this promise. And I'll make this promise here again. While I serve you, I will not be involved in purchasing any stock. And that's just insider trading. It is not fair to you. All these others, Nancy Pelosi, there's been some on the Republican side as well. I make that promise. Okay? And people like Willie Davis has endorsed me, city council member from Houston. I have a former state rep that you may recall. Gilbert Pena, who lives in the district. I even have Marty Rocha, deputy for the Sheriff's Department in Harris County, who ran as a Democrat in the CD9 primary, has endorsed me as well because he knows where I stand in law enforcement. I have more law enforcement experience than Alexandra Miller. Yet, some of these organizations have supported me, but I've been endorsed by the combined law enforcement agency of the state of Texas. because they know with my 911 background, my security company background, I know security.
Just really quickly, Roy, can you tell us where your district, how it expands? Is it out by Hobby Airport? How far does it go east? Just a quick geographic.
If we start downtown and once we get to 2nd Ward, I-10 and the Gulf Freeway, everything south going to basically Beltway is going to be District 9. It's everything on the east side. So you have Deer Park, you have Pasadena, you have LaPorte. And then if you go north, you have the Highlands up there. North Shore, Baytown, like I said here, Pasadena, Deer Park. That's Harris County. They put Liberty County in it as well. It was originally going to be Kingwood, but they pulled that out. By Dan Crenshaw, he needed those votes. So we got Liberty County.
So again, guys, if you live in Pasadena, Deer Park, it goes up to Highlands, you said, so I-10 up,
I-10
east.
going east.
That would be your congressional district, so that's CD9. Gentlemen over here.
Yes, sir.
Being a veteran that you are, what are you going to do for the veterans?
I'll say again.
Being a veteran, what are you going to do?
What's that question?
Us.
What, as a veteran?
Yes, as a veteran.
You guys are veterans, right? Okay, so let me speak on that. First off, we got to make sure that people like AMC doesn't take away what we get, our benefits. Okay, that's important. We got to have a great healthcare system, which we do in Houston. There's someone out there that talks against that, but she's completely wrong. Hearing aid, okay. Sensor in my arm. I have another one, but it's not on me. All paid by the VA. We've got to make sure, first off, that that's taken care of. If you're a retired veteran from the military, I want them to have the option, because when I joined when I was 19, I was told the Air Force was always going to take care of me. That was wrong. I didn't. I went on to Medicare. We should have the option of staying on TRICARE for life. Okay? It's a better system. It covers you around the world. Okay? Medicare doesn't. So you're spending over $200 a month. And you have to be here in the States. If you go overseas, you better have insurance. I want to make sure that employees at the VA are taken care of. What they did last Christmas was wrong. The VA basic staff workers, phlebotomists, technicians, they had their Christmas bonus taken away from them that they had gotten over the year. Some of it was like $1,000, but they took that money and gave it somewhere else. We've got to make sure we get good health. Okay. I want to continue the relationship, at least in our area, with Baylor. I don't know if you've been to the main hospital. Most of my doctors now come from Baylor because I've seen the Baylor as well. We're talking top of the line physicians. I want to see that continue. But no one will touch that VA budget. I want to make sure everybody's taken care of. I want to make sure that Houston is an example to the whole country because there's been problems in other cities.
Will you make sure that community care is stuck to, because they were saying you can only do it for a year for community care. That's what the VA has said. And that is when it's all backed up in the VA. You can go and see the doctor that they approved to do this and then that's why people go there. I go to you to visit.
Well, it's important to do that. We need to do that because we can just take care of so many people because people come around the region to go to that hospital. So they need to be able to do something in their local area. Yes. We need to improve it.
Well, that's just like community care.
Yeah,
well, what I'm saying is, when you go to community care, I've been waiting 3 weeks for community care to call me for procedure outside of the VA because it's a 6 to 8 month wait over there. So it's getting to the point where the community care is falling behind like the VA. So I don't know how to address that. I mean, when I'm sitting here waiting
what I've done? I call her today for an opening. We shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to do that. We need to improve that system. But have you tried, I find it more easier to contact my primary care over there and get in the system. Okay, so we need to look into that. But you're right, we need to take care of it. We need to take care of our visitors. We need to start with what's owed to you, and that starts with the VA.
Thank you very much, Roy. Again, Roy Morales from CV9.
If you have any questions, I'm giving cards out. Just email me until the website's up and active,
Okay,
and then we'll be at warp speed.
perfect. Thank you again, Roy, for coming out here. So again, that was Roy Morales. He's Congressional District number 9. So if you have any questions, again, he said he has a business card that he can hand out, and then he will be working and uploading or up your website. It's up and coming, correct? Great. Okay, so y'all, so we are going to move right along. We have more more candidates that are going to be addressing our guests today. We are going to focus next on Harris County. We have a candidate who has held several positions in the Harris County as a city council member. We also had him as a position of the treasurer. And now he is running against someone who has made a total chaotic mess. And I won't mention her name, but we are predicting he will be our winner. And moving on to the general election, Mr. Orlando Sanchez. Thank you for coming, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you all for coming out. I'm going to be very brief because I think I've pretty much talked to everybody in this group over the last 6 months, but I am going to say that both Frank and Roy make me look bad. They're wearing their 3-piece suits and I'm over here slacks and a t-shirt, but I actually just got back from the North Shore Crawfish Bowl put on by the Rotary Club, which is a big event. But anyway, thank you to all the veterans that have served. I'm an Air Force veteran and a former member of the Texas Air National Guard. I have spent some time out here on the East End. I was a volunteer EMT, spent 1,500 hours on an ambulance with North Channel EMS, so I'm very familiar with the east side of town and Baytown, and a lot of good, hard-working patriots down here. My ask of everyone is that we please turn out, and I like to give statistics. Some of you may remember 2001 when I ran for mayor. Anybody remember that? I lost that race with 187,000 votes inside the city of Houston. You know how many Republicans voted in the primary this year? Just over 170,000. So that's not good. We've got to get and encourage all of our friends, all of our family, all of our patriots to get out and vote. I'll talk a little bit about what I've been doing because, on the campaign trail the last 6 months, people say, oh, where's Orlando been? We haven't seen him in 10 years since he was booted out of office by Beto O'Rourke and Lena Hidalgo. All of the Republicans were, right? In 2018, the county was running well. We had money in the bank. The court system worked. The jail was under control. Flood control was being addressed. And now it's a disaster. So my whole plan is to put Rodney Ellis back into precinct 1. Let me repeat that. Rodney Ellis is the de facto county judge in Harris County. We're going to put him back in precinct 1, and we're going to get a county judge that actually knows what they're doing and has experience. Yep. Now, as I said before, I was a Houston City Council member at large for 6 years. I was the county treasurer for 12 years. I have an intimate knowledge of the city of Houston and the county. I am looking forward to working with all of the candidates and all of the office holders that have endorsed me. I've been endorsed by the Lieutenant Governor, all of the Texas state senators in this region, and the state representatives, half of the precinct chairs that make up the executive committee of Harris County. And so I'm looking forward to the election on May 26th. The most important endorsement is your vote on May 26th. Now, I am the founder of Texas Latino Conservatives. Frank is raising his hand because he's one of our graduates. For the last 10 years, we've been training hundreds of young Hispanics in Texas. And the fruits of that training is very palpable now. I remember in 2017, I trained Mayra Flores to run for U.S. Congress. We have worked with Freddie Arellano, who became the first Republican chairman of the Republican Party in Maverick County. He won the election when he was 17. He was sworn in when he was 18. Recently, we just elected the first conservative mayor of Eagle Pass, Texas, a friend of Freddie Arellano. So we've done a lot of good work. We helped John Lujan win a Democrat state House seat in House District 118 in San Antonio. We helped elect a young man in Kerrville, Texas, Roman Garcia. When he was 18 years old, got voted in as a Republican conservative member of the city council. His dream was to go into the Naval Academy. I see the Navy flag. The Air Force actually has a very good academy as well. So that's what I've been doing for 10 years, building the party. And the reason I was stationed at Laughlin Air Force Base in Del Rio, Texas in 1976. I grew up with a Mexican-American community in South Texas. And I know their values. And the values in South Texas, I think you guys all know this. When the primary was over in days gone by, the winner of the primary was the de facto elected official in November. Why? Because no Republican ever ran, and there was no Republican candidate. So whoever won the Democrat primary won the election in November. That's all changed in South Texas. From Valverde County, which is Del Rio, to Maverick County, to Benton County, to Cameron County, to Hidalgo County, all of those counties now have contested Republican primaries. And that's been my dream all along, is to amplify the voice of conservatism. When I started this organization, I initially called it Texas Latino GOP PAC. And I realized that Latinos didn't know what the hell GOP meant. So I changed it to Texas Latino Conservatives. And we always tell our folks, vote your ballot. If your values are transgenderism and sending your little boy to school and he comes back as a girl, or do you want to defund ICE or defund the police, there's a party for you. But if your values are what I know they are, then vote with us. So I have these cards as Texas Latino Conservatives. Go to our website. You know, any young people that want to take our classes, we have them every quarter, free of charge, regardless of where they come from the state of Texas. We pay all expenses, air travel, meals, hotels, and these people go on to be the next generation of conservative leaders in Texas. So I'll leave some cards with Carmen, but I want to congratulate Carmen and all of you folks that have worked very hard to build this organization. We need more of these types of organizations, grassroots organizations, to spread the word. Happy to answer any questions. Looking forward to Frank's comments.
Thank you, sir. Again, we have a literature table up here, so we're going to put these cards. If you are interested in getting more information, please visit that table.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. So we're going to move on to our raffle. We passed out some green tickets, so if you want to grab your ticket and hear out for the number that's going to be called, can I have you pick a ticket for us, please? Again, this is for the two raffle prizes that are up here. We have a salsa bowl and we have a crock pot. So get your tickets ready. Just pull one. That's the lucky one. Read the last four.
4314. 4314 is the last four. So 894314.
Perfect. You can pick your choose. It's either the salsa bowl or the crock pot. And actually, I'll have your wife pick the other one.
The last three?
Last three.
316. 316.
Last three numbers is 316. Got it? There we go over there. That's the lucky table. So you get a crock pot. There we go. So we have moving on with our presentation, we have 2 more candidates that are going to be speaking. We also have Johnny, the name of your club or organization? So we have an activist that is going to be talking about a veterans group as well. So before we move on, we're going to have Miss Claudia Govea do the segment on Stir the Pot. You're up, Claudia.
All right, well, I don't know about stirring the pot, but I want to mention a couple of things that have happened in Texas this week. So the 5th Court District of Appeals has given us some light at the end of the tunnel. The 10 Commandments stands in all the schools. So far right, but they label us far right court allow the 10 Commandments in every Texas classroom in direct defiance to Stoicism. So that's a win for us. Another win. Attorney General Ken Paxton secured a major victory defending Senate Bill 4. So again, Texas law enforcement is going to collaborate with ICE. And the last one. Texas child abuse investigations over gender-affirming care no longer blocked. They had blocked them because CPS dropped cases. So that's the grounds that they were using to protect these investigations. So now they're moving forward with investigations. So if anybody has any comments to make about that or anything to add, that would be great. Buddy?
So we have you forgot to bring the channel over.
Yes.
So this is what we call Stir the Pot. So for those of you that have an issue that's local or an issue that's state or federal, we want you to come up and stir the pot. And it could be any comment. It could be, hey, I'm calling city council and I want them to come and fix the potholes down on the street and they're not doing it. So I want you to come up here, I want you to hold this booth, and I want you to voice your concern, your critique. So this is your chance, this is your area. You have public officials here on the ballot that potentially can help you.
Yes.
So does anyone have a concern? There we go.
There we go.
There we go. So try to hold the spoon up high. As high as you can.
I want to get property taxes abolished for all seniors.
For everybody.
You never own your property, and if you get behind, they'll throw you out of the own place you paid for. So, the hell with that.
I won't argue with that. There you go.
So here's a question. That's a great one. Thank you. Here's a question for our elected officials or people that are on the ballot. Who would be the person or the office that can handle something like that?
Your state legislature.
Okay.
Whoever your state legislature
Can you
is.
introduce yourself? I know you're someone here in Baytown.
I'm Councilman Ken Griffith. I'm your local city councilman. I represent District 3. That's more where the marketplace is going to be, the mall, the north side, Lakewood. Lakewood, you got the Lakewood, you got the musicians here. District 3. That's my home. I grew up here for 2 years. So, yeah, it's so important. That's a great question to know who to go to, who to contact within your local government to get things done in a certain area. Sometimes there's a myth because people don't understand who has what jurisdiction over what. So I really appreciate, what's your name, ma'am?
My name's Carmen.
Ms. Carmen, having such a great question to actually have that discussion. Where do we go when we have a certain issue? Whose jurisdiction does this issue fall under? Is it the city? Is it the state? Is it the county? So I really appreciate the question and having that type of dialogue. So nice meeting everybody.
Thank you. So does anybody want to come up here and hold this spoon? Yes.
Oh, for the spin.
Yeah, come on up.
So a couple of things. My name is Jonathan Ramirez, former paratrooper. Just to piggyback off what this gentleman here said about ownership, right? So if you own something and somebody can come and take it from you physically, do you really own it?
Nope.
Just something to ponder, right? Right. We live under the illusion of ownership, not just in Texas, but in the United States. And that's just a reality I think that we need to come to terms with, or change. I mean, and that's reality, and that's how it starts with asking the questions and saying, hey, this is what we want, because that's what we need to demand of our representatives. If that's something that we want, is how many folks here are going to convention? Right? Okay. So I think that's something we all need to bring up is property taxes. So I think that's a good first step. So thanks for bringing it up. And the other thing is I'll be at convention, so if you'll see me, say hi. But I wear a couple of hats. One of them is the Greater Harris County chair of the Republican Liberty Caucus. So that's one of the hats that I wear. And one of the things we're going to be advocating is Defend the Guard. Has anybody heard of Defend the Guard? Okay, so Defend the Guard is essentially keeps the federal government from deploying our federal guard, our national guard overseas to do whatever. And so SB4 is a great step in the right direction, but also I think it would be great if we had our National Guard here to actually engage and do some of the stuff that we need them to do, because we can't really defend our border and concentrate on these cells that have gotten into our country while our border was extremely porous under past administrations. So working hand in hand with various organizations, federal organizations, state organizations, is truly what's going to help us not only seal our border but keep bad things from happening. And so that's it.
And Johnny, really quickly, your background. You served in the military. What was your position?
I was a parachute lead, 2nd Airborne Division of combat in Iraq for 15 months. Part of it was here in the surge. Here in 12 months with the 2nd Infantry Division, and that was a crazy 12 months. They were both crazy in different ways, but it was a great experience, and I would do it over again if I had a chance.
So I bring that up because we have dedicated candidates, we have dedicated activists that know what the meaning of freedom really is. So we love for people like Johnny to come in, and our candidates, grassroots, like Orlando, like Don Hooper, who's going to speak in just a moment. But pay attention. These people actually bring the value of freedom, the value of integrity to clubs like this. So with that being said, Mr. Frank, you wanted to introduce someone before he had to leave to another meeting as well.
I want to introduce Joseph Fallon. He is with the Baytown Recreation Advisory Board, and I want to introduce him so that way he has a few words to address to everybody.
Hi, my name is Joseph Fallon. I'm a Baytown resident for many years. I'm on the Baytown Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for District 3. I'm also very involved with a family business. We own multiple houses and properties around this area. And I just want to give my endorsement to Mr. Frank Salazar. We need a hardcore Republican in. We need somebody who's not going to sympathize or even play around with the transgender ideologies or any of the radical ideologies that define the Democrat Party. I don't want somebody who's going to tiptoe. I don't want somebody who's going to make concessions. I want somebody who's going to put their foot down and say, hell no. Not in Texas, not here. You're not going to transition the kids. You're not going to do away with the Second Amendment. I'm very glad that you're running, and I really hope that everybody votes for him if they can. So that's all.
Can you turn it around? Thank y'all again. Great topics, great conversation. With that, I'm leading up to someone who is running for a position throughout Harris County. He has entered the race with a mission to actually outreach to all areas of Harris County. Mr. Don Hooper, if you can make your way up and talk a little bit about your campaign. Now, he is also in a runoff. The runoff is going to happen May 26th.
Early vote starts May 18th to the 22nd, and election day is May 26th. Right. Which is important because the May 25th is what? Memorial Day. So please go vote early, and don't wait until election day. You know, we'll always have had screw-ups down with the Harris County Elections Office, and I think Tanisha Hudspeth is doing a better job, but anyway, those are the election dates. I was going to grab Carmen's big spoon, but I did want to mention that over the last 48 hours, and I'm bringing it up because this gentleman was talking about convention, that there's been a concerted effort to remove the general counsel of the Republican Party from both the Rules Committee and from working on the party business. And the reason why that's important is because she is the one that got us to where we are today on closed primaries, to prevent Democrats from voting in our elections. And think about it. You know, at one point, we may have moderate Democrats that would have crossed over and voted, but now we have the Democratic Party in Harris County has gone completely crazy. I mean, the transgendered ideology, the defunding of the police department. We don't want these people choosing our Republican candidates. And if you're a delegate to the convention, please just be aware of this issue. And I will say, Republicans have tried to close our primaries to Democrats for over 30 years. And then finally, we got a woman who was a very skilled trial lawyer on the Rules Committee that changed the rules enough, fighting with the establishment lawyers on that committee to make it available to us to close our primaries. There's currently a lawsuit in Amarillo in federal court to order Jane Nelson to close the primaries. The governor entered into the lawsuit opposing it. His arguments were kind of specious to me. He claimed the governor made the argument that Jane Nelson didn't have the right to close the primaries. He's right. And I will tell you, the lawyer that filed the lawsuit on behalf of the party knew that too. And that's why she's asking a federal judge to order her to close our primary. And again, very important, we don't want Democrats selecting our candidates. And we've had it happen time and time again. Dave Phelan is the latest example of 2,300 Democrats crossed over and voted in the Republican primary that were Democrats in his election down in Beaumont. And we just need to put an end to it. There's many other examples, but Dave Phelan was the one that just really it was the most egregious. I mean, he actively campaigned for Democrats to come over and vote for him and save him because he knew the Republicans were going to throw him out of office. You got to think about that. The Republicans were going to throw the Speaker of the House out of office. There's a reason for that. They knew Dave Phelan was behind the impeachment of Ken Paxton. And now I'll talk about my race. So how I got into this race for party chair, Ken Paxton asked me to. He wanted conservative leadership in Harris County as the party. Our party, my opponent, very nice woman. I like Cindy Siegel. God knows I've known her as long as I've known Orlando Sanchez. And Orlando was talking about his 2001 mayoral campaign. I worked on that campaign. And nothing made me more proud to be part of that campaign because Orlando was right. It was unique in Texas history. We had more people come out and vote in the runoff election than we did the general election. I don't think that's ever been done before or since, right, Orlando? And times are changing here in Harris County. My opponent, again, Cindy Siegel, I respect her, but she's not my part of the Conservative Party. She takes money from Colony Bridge. I will never do that. And she's part of the group of people that profit off of illegal immigration. There's lots of businesses that support Cindy that their business model is defined by illegal immigrants, and that's their workforce. And I'll talk about crime for a little bit as an example. I know some of you have heard me speak before, but as we're having this conversation, we have 900 people out on bond for murder. 900 running our streets. Of that 900 people running around on our streets, out on bond for murder, 300 of those are out on bond for capital murder. The big M. And the reason why I say that is that my wife, who's also the general counsel of the party that I was just talking about, when we're trying to shut down for closing primaries, was the longtime deputy chief of the Harris County District Attorney's Office. And when she was there, nobody got out on bond for murder, let alone 900 people. Nobody got out on bond. I don't think anybody in our history had ever been out on bond for capital murder, which is just crazy. So you got 900 people out on bond, running our streets, on bond for murder, and then we have 1,250 people wanted for murder. So not in custody. So we've got roughly 2,150 known murderers running around Harris County. That's insane. We have to elect good judges. And the reason why I bring that up is because we've had many of our worst judges have went unopposed in our election cycles. And in 2024, we had 12 of some of the most dangerous judges in Harris County. I mean, people that just do crazy. One of the people that went unopposed in 2024 actually had a trial in her court, and in that trial, a guy was convicted of capital murder. I think he was out on bond, but she thought after he was convicted by a jury of capital murder, that it would be a good idea to let him go home and get his affairs in order. Well, he did that, and he thought that, I guess his affairs getting in order meant he should murder his girlfriend, which he did. Went home from the courthouse, killed his girlfriend. Now, thankfully, he killed himself after that, and so he wasn't housed by our state corrections officers, but that is the type of thinking that you get with dangerous Democrat judges. Now, the arguments on the left as to the reason why they do this are just insane. And they've been going on since about 2018, 2019. It started with the O'Donnell consent decree, I think, which was filed in 2016. But with all that being said, until Lena Hidalgo got into office, we did not have these issues. And I'm not blaming it all on Lena, but Lena was the tipping point that gave the Democrats control of the Harris County Commission Board that hopefully Orlando here is going to fix. And when he does fix it, we can undo what's called the O'Donnell consent decree. And the O'Donnell consent decree is this thing that the judges are using to let these people go out. Now, the state did take an action in Prop 3 to reduce the availability of judges to allow murder defendants out on bond. Sometimes they follow it, sometimes they don't. But that did happen. And we had a group of Republicans that opposed it. And I seek to change all that. What else should I talk to you about?
Do you have a website?
DonHooperForChair.com. And then all of my endorsements, I'm endorsed by Ken Paxton, I'm supported by endorsed by Tony Busby, Michael Berry, Kenny Webster. There's lots of people that have endorsed my campaign. And I think they're wanting change, they're wanting to do something different here in Harris County and kind of separate ourselves from the people who have fostered in this idea that we should go and get along with the Democrats and on these issues. And I say that because we've had some Republican judges that have done this too. And the most infamous case probably that is the one that you probably know. Who here knows Paul Castro or who he is? So Paul Castro was leaving a Astros game with his son David Castro, and they got into an incident with a gentleman who was out on bond for murder. And I think he was out on bond for murder. Should have been walking the streets, let's put it that way. And he shot into Mr. Castro's car, killing his son, leaving the Astros game. And I'll never forget this. My wife and I were driving back from Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, and we're listening to the Michael Berry show, and he's on the radio, and he's talking to Paul Castro, and Michael asked him who was the judge that released the guy out on bond, and he said Mark Brown. And I looked at my wife and I'm like, how in the world did Mark Brown do that? He's a Republican. And if you know my wife, she's lightning fast on her phone. She can find things. She has, and by the way, not only is she the general counsel of the Republican Party of Texas, my wife was the special prosecutor against Reno Hidalgo. And you can thank her for not being running her this election cycle. She arrested all of her staff. Ultimately, Sean Keir won, and the case was turned over to the Attorney General's office, and Lena was never charged. But my wife did arrest her staff and arrested the people that were involved in the COVID contract. But with all that being said, we're in dangerous times. We have to change what we're doing. We can't keep doing what we're doing. And we darn sure can't get along with these people because they've proven in every instance that if we give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. By the way, if you guys were wondering, I've lived in Mexico City, I've lived in Caracas, Venezuela, I've lived in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I was born and raised here in Houston. I moved back here in 94, 95. I have kind of lived all over the world, but I was born and raised here. My father was born and raised here in Houston. His father was born and raised here. Well, actually, he was born in Schulenburg, but he had a medical practice here. But anyway, with all that being said, I would love your support. Please vote for me. If you have any questions, I'm really easy to find. You can go to my website. I think my phone number's on it, but I'd be more than happy. I take, every text message to every delegate, or every text message that I sent out to the Republican voters in the primary, and I texted a lot to get to where I am today against Ms. Siegel, has my phone number at the end of it. And I want people to know that text message is coming from me, and you can call me at any time and ask me any question. I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Any questions? I think you covered everything.
Thank you.
Don is a real deal, y'all. He will come out. I've invited him to so many events, and he has never said no. He is a voter, people person. So if you have a question, he is honest when he says he is easy to reach, and he is here to hear you out. So again, a round of applause for Mr. Hoover. Thank you so much, sir. That was fantastic. So with that being said, the star of today's meeting, Mr. Frank Salazar, we wanted to make this day about him. I know that there is so much going on with especially this district, Frank. Again, it's amazing. 20 years without representation.
Exactly.
So you were here. Give us a little bit of your background. Tell us why you wanted to run, and tell us the message that we could send out for you.
I'm Frank Salazar. I was raised on the east side of Houston, and I have been there pretty much my whole entire life. I moved into District 143 back about 1980 when I used to live up in the Heights. After I got here, I started noticing things, but then again, just being a regular resident, nobody really cared. So then back in 2013, 2014, when I originally ran for this position. I ran a good successful position, but I lost by 11%, which I really had given up at that time, so I had just went into private practice, went into engineering, and I recently retired from Diamond Offshore Drilling as a structural engineer. After that, I started noticing the same pattern as it was back in 13 and 14. And I looked at it and I said, something has to be done. So then I initially was invited by Cindy Siegel, the Republican chairwoman. She said they were having a Saturday morning meeting. So when I went over there and I shook her hand and I introduced myself, she shoved them papers in my face and she said, we encourage you to run. Well, I thought it was a joke because for 13 years they hadn't said nothing. So I said, okay. So out of curiosity, I signed the paperwork and I put in my candidacy. After that day, 3 weeks later, I have been invited to a luncheon award ceremony by Orlando Sanchez, which really made it interesting because I'm sitting there and in the middle of this award ceremony, he stands up and he announces that I'm not just a small business owner, but I'm also a candidate for this district. So I raised up my hand and everybody started clapping and greeting me, which was a great one. Thank you, Orlando. Appreciate that one. So since then, everywhere that I have gone, they have looked and they have said that they don't understand why I'm running. Well, I'm running because I want to represent everybody in this district that have been misrepresented for the past 20 years because of the incumbent. You ask everybody and you ask them who their name is and they don't know. Have they come to your door to talk to you about the issues that are affecting you or your family? And no, they don't know. So those are the things, well, some of them, because I have a big old list, but I'm going to give y'all just about 5 of them. The infrastructure in this district does not exist. Okay, the economy, it is way below poverty level. Okay? There's no prosperity here. And the reason I'm saying this is because the big major oil company that was here, LyondellBasell, shut down its doors last year. Now they only got like maybe a handful of people working there to keep the company going. But it's really not anybody can go and hire. So what I am telling people is I am the type of person that will go out there and address these issues. Now, like I said, I retired from Diamond Offshore Drilling, so I am keeping my candidacy attached to the people that are in the oil and gas industry. And these are the people that I'm talking to try to get Lyondell back online. Now, a little bit more information here. Since my candidacy of last year, January, I have been working and talking to the community. Now, there's a development right there in Chapel. It's a logistic building that they're building out there. Now, I was just a little bit instrumental in helping getting this thing established here. And I keep telling everybody what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. To get economy going in this district. And they just look at me like I'm crazy. And I tell them, no. If I can help get that building taken care of and get the business going in that area, and I'm just a private citizen at the moment, a candidate for the district, imagine what I can do when I do get into office of everything that I can do to make it more prosperous for people to come into Channelview and District 143. Now those are just some of the things that I do. But let me give you a little information about the incumbent. 20 years, been there, hasn't done anything. She has designated District 143 as a sanctuary district. Nobody knows that because they don't want to advertise it because they don't want you to know what's going on. Now, last year's August, when the governor had that session, that special session, to address the redistricting in this district, she and all of her Democratic colleagues left the state and went up north. So that way they could sit there and not vote on this redistricting. But us being citizens of this area, we were able to pass the redistricting, which was a great, great deal for the Republican Party. And I am also telling people about this because, you know, that's the type of representation we don't need. When pushing comes to shoving, they leave. Well, pushing comes to shoving, I'm gonna sit in your face and I'm gonna address these issues and I'm gonna find some answers one way or another. Because these are the things that are very important for the people in this district, and they deserve good representation. They deserve to be heard. They deserve to be taken to Austin and shown the concerns that they have in their district. These are the people that I am talking about representing. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, leftist, or liberal, if you live in this district, I am going to represent you one way or another, whether you like me or not. But I'm going to represent this district to the best of my ability. And these are the facts and reasons why I am running for this district. And I ask everybody to support me, tell everybody about me, and that way we can get this election. Because let me say this, I won the elections, the primary elections for this district in March with 100% of the votes in this district. So this is what I want to take with me to the general election to get elected for State Representative District 143, and with supports of Councilman Ken Griffiths, Joseph Fallon from Baytown, Orlando Sanchez, Mr. Hooper here. We can get this election done, and we can have better representation for this district. And these are the reasons why I'm addressing this to everybody. Thank y'all for having me so much. I'm Frank Salazar.
Andy Valdez, he helped you with the website. Do you want to?
I gotta tell you about Andy. Andy is the greatest guy that I know because he has done my website. He has done my campaign posters. He has done my campaign, what do I say, you know. He's done all my media. He has done my endorsements. And he has done everything for me, and I gotta tell everybody about Andy. Andy is the greatest guy. If you ever want to get anybody on your side that wants to do your media, that wants to help you with your campaign or whatever you want to get into, your businesses, Andy is the one to get in touch with. You get in touch with Carly. You get in
I'm just chocolate for y'all.
You get in contact with Hope to get all of this information, because these are some of the greatest people that live in the area. And I cannot sit there and say enough of them, or say enough of them about them, because they are the great people that they help you. And I gotta sit there and I gotta tell.
Thank you, Frank. That means a lot. It really does mean a lot. You know why we do it, y'all? We do it because we know that candidates like Frank and candidates who have spoken here today, y'all are going to be the difference that we need. We don't do it for self-glorification. We don't do it for any of that. We do it for y'all. And when I tell you guys that these people go around and they're the real deal, they talk to people, they sit down, they listen, they want the solutions, they want to help bring those solutions to y'all. So Frank Salazar, website is?
Frank at hd143.com.
Great. Thank you again, Frank. So we have a couple more speakers. Again, you heard from Johnny earlier, but he wants to talk a little bit about the organization that he runs, and I want to recognize the councilman that came out and just give you a couple minutes to say some words of Eli. Johnny, you want to come on up, huh? So tell us who you are, tell us again a little bit about where you serve, and tell us what your mission is now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So my name is Jonathan Lee Ramirez. I go by Johnny Lee. I was in the Army for nearly a decade. I was an infantryman. I deployed to Iraq with the 1st Battalion, 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment. Our claim to fame was 41 high-value targets killed and captured in under 30 days. Later, I went to Afghanistan with 2nd 1st Battalion, 17th Infantry Regiment, out of 2nd Strike Brigade Combat Team, Fort Lewis, Washington. We're down in Kandahar for 12 months. We got to like 2 to 3 gunfights per day. We're attached air weapons teams. It was crazy. It was a crazy, crazy year. But all of those were great opportunities for me to learn more about myself and kind of what our country is doing, because we asked a lot of questions like, what are we doing here? I got into foreign policy, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I left the Army, like many veterans, but I was interested in foreign policy. I was at the business end of the fraternity decade, had a lot of questions asked, so I went to school. School was a little lackluster for me because I wasn't taught how to think, rather. I was taught what to think. There was a lot of programming that was experienced in college, and I didn't like that. So I got out and I ended up working in politics. My first political job was with CD23 with Congressman Will Hurd. I was just field organizer for the guy. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot from Will about how to be a political operative, how to weave things together, and how to get a job done. He's a former CIA guy that worked in cybersecurity. He's very intelligent. And it was a great blessing to work for him. Then I went to work for the governor. I was actually one of his regional directors. And I was responsible for rebuilding Harris County and down to what was that, Jamaica Beach? So it was like from Midtown all the way down to Jamaica Beach we came in and worked to rebuild that campaign. That's actually the first time I met in Orlando, just in passing. We didn't know each other, we weren't best friends or anything like that. But politics really is a small world because I originally worked for the governor in San Antonio, and so we helped some of these candidates that Orlando mentioned. John Lujan was one of them. We met his family, very nice guy. And so all of this stuff goes full circle. All this to say, I was working for an organization, and I was blessed with building, training, and deploying teams from DC to lobby on the Hill about a more realistic and restrained foreign policy, as well as veteran health care reform. And so I was actually given this current job by a former boss. He connected me with my boss, Teresa Doggett, and she said, hey, there's this pharmacy that's working with the veterans organization. We kind of want to build something to decrease veteran deaths and suicides, but also help give them cleaner opportunities for pharmaceuticals. So that's kind of what we're doing. And we're currently building veterans outreach teams for our representatives. We're building at the federal level because that's what I did. That's what I did before. We would go and we'd identify veterans. So if you're a veteran, I want to talk to you and see if you'd like to be on our team to help us get things over the line for our veterans. One of the things we're working on is the Access Act. It's something that's supported both by the VFW and the American Legion. I'm a member of both of those organizations. Both of those are great organizations that do things for our veterans. And so working with them to get things over the line, get our veterans access to more health care opportunities, more mental health, and more job opportunities. And so again, if you're a veteran, I'd like to hear from you. And my name's Johnny Lee, and I thank you, Carmen, so much for being gracious and allowing me the opportunity to speak here. You truly are the glue that holds this organization together.
Well, we work as a team, so the ladies, thank you, Johnny, very much. We do have a great team, Claudia and Hope and Andy and Rick. I know Rick is up in Dallas right now. Is he helping up in a campaign? Is that Rick? Yeah. Okay. So we have a great team, y'all. And like I said, our club travels around Harris County. We're out in Fort Bend right now, out towards Stafford, and we want to make Baytown our next home. So I'm going to talk to the councilman in just a bit to see how we could generate more people, more community to come out, because it's important for them to hear from our candidates and from other activists in the area. So I want to work with you in just a bit. If you want to say a couple of things.
Say anything right now?
Yeah, come on up, and then we're going to introduce Claudia. I know you have a guest out of town.
Yes.
So y'all heard from me earlier, but didn't have much to say, but I just wanted to introduce everybody. I am the Councilman King Trickle. I got into this back in 2022. I grew up here in Baytown. I'm a second-generation American. My parents came here legally from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, and I was born in New York, and my parents got to Texas as fast as they could. And I grew up here in Baytown. It's been my home for 44 years or so. And I got into civic service is what I call it, because that's what I believe. I view myself as a public servant, not a politician. I'm a public servant that has to navigate politics, but I'm a public servant first. And I wanted to serve the community that's been so great to my family. It's been the place where my dad had came in, and he started by cleaning toilets at YMCA. By the time he retired, he was an instrumentation tech for Holly Burton out at Shell. My mom, she had a great nursing career. She studied nursing in Great Britain. And she brought her skills over here, and she was a very well respected nurse in her field. And I'm proud to have a lineage of hardworking immigrants who came here the right way and made a path for themselves and instilled values of hard work, discipline, and most importantly, their faith. I'm a born-again Christian, and that's the core of my principles is my faith in Jesus Christ that guides me. And I ran my first election, didn't know what I was doing, with $50 in my pocket, and I seated the incumbent, who's now the mayor. So this kind of tells you how kind of a David and Goliath situation. I believe in my eyes that God brought me through, and then I ran a circuit. I just got reelected, came out of a general election against 2 candidates without a runoff, which is almost unheard of these days, even by local standards. And I ran because, you know, when you wake up, when you turn on your water, and you flush your toilets, all of that has to do with decisions that are made by your city council. How that happens has to do, is determined by the decisions made by your city council. When you drive down the roads, I heard you mention the potholes, all that has to do with decisions made by city council and where the budget goes and where money is allocated to get these projects done. And I started to see where the basic core services were lacking in our city, and the city was moving away with spending money in the wrong places, and how it was hurting our city in the long run in a sustainable way. So one reason I ran was that. Another reason I ran is to get people like you, the grassroots, involved in your local city councilman. If you have an issue, again, if you have an issue with your potholes, you have an issue with the water not running right, contact your city government. Go to a city council meeting. Find out what district you're in. Find out your city councilman. Find out when you're up for re-election. Hold us accountable. That's crazy, right? You have somebody coming out here asking you to hold us accountable to doing what we said we're going to do and providing the services that you guys pay in with your taxes. So I'm very honored to get the vote and confidence of the town where I grew up in, the people I grew up around, to serve them and represent them. And I'm hoping that if I don't get anything out of this, is people being more engaged in what's going on in their city. And if we're going to get to where we need to get, people have to take ownership, like the gentleman here who is airborne. I tell you something about airborne is, everybody who I experience in airborne, they run to issues. They're not cowards. They do not shy away from anything, and I really appreciate you. Everybody I've dealt with from airborne, I'm not a veteran, but I've always admired people who serve in airborne because they're brave people, and I'm inspired by that bravery when I serve our city and make sure I represent the voices and y'all's day-to-day, things y'all do day-to-day in this city. So that's a little bit about me. I hope I came across clear. I believe I did. If y'all need anything, y'all have any questions, please contact me. I love educating people about what the city is doing and where they fit in. We have committees. You want to get involved, reach out to me. I'll pitch you somewhere.
Mr. Griffin, do you have a business card that we could share up there at the table?
I shared one. Maybe I can share another one. Well, Mr. Hoover can lend this out.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you. I know it was last minute, but thank you for addressing us, and we appreciate you. We'll be back.
Good. Welcome to Baytown.
So we do have, Claudia's going to introduce a guest that came in from out of town. So Claudia, go ahead and do the honors.
So this is our friend Kaylani. She is here from Eagle Pass. She goes as the Mexican Velma. The Mexican Velma. She's an influencer, but she also lives in Eagle Pass. So she wants to talk about what it is to live in Eagle Pass, being so close to the border. I'm sure she has a lot of insight.
Hi, I'm Kaymani Morales. I go by that Mexican Velma on Instagram and on TikTok. I am from Eagle Pass. I am a border kid, so you know, when the 2019 caravan came in, when, you know, Joe Biden was like, hey, go ahead and come on over, it was very, very traumatic for the people of Eagle Pass because we didn't know what we were going to expect. Because we're having so many, like, oh yeah, go ahead and come over, it's okay, but in reality, these people come in with different mannerisms, different, you know, beliefs, different things that they like to do. And when I mean what they like to do, I mean the criminals who actually fled and came into our border. So I live 5 minutes away from the 73-year-old woman who got raped by two, I'm shaking, I'm sorry, Venezuelans from Nicaragua. And it was very, very hard, especially having, you know, 2 children of my own, and then on top of that, I have family who's in law enforcement, and you know, thank God for them. Thank God for that. You know, we have the people at the border, and I don't understand like they want to be fun, but in reality, we need our agents. We need our protection for our border, and the moment that happened, it opened my eyes to many things because I do not want to see people on the street. I mean, I don't want to see anybody on the street, in reality. I think that all the homeless veterans need to get off. I think all the children need to get off. American children need to get off the streets. But people who you don't know, that becomes a problem. Because you have people who are walking into neighborhoods. I've had 2 accounts where people were like, hey, can you give me water? And I'm like, no. And we have, you know, 3 men, 4 men who are like, well, why? You look like me. I'm sorry. I look like you, I might be the same color as you, but I'm not you. I don't come from the you know, country that you came into my house. Why do I need to give you water? Well, why don't you give me water? And the thing here is, thank God, because you know, God is big. You know. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, it's very hard in reality to deal with it. Yes, sir. CBP officer, Border Patrol, we need him here now. That was one, and the other one, 2 men. I need water again, and I'll say I can't help. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Well, I guess I don't know what it was, but they ran, and then all of a sudden the Border Patrol was like coming that way. So I was like, okay. I was one of those people. I was blessed to not have had that encounter. How many people have died? How many women? How many children? We have plenty of bodies tonight. And it hurts me as an American citizen to have that happen. So, I really just look words for that reason. You know, it's just hard in itself to be an Eagle Passian because we live in a county that's, yes, we love our Border Patrol. We learned that lesson, but there are so many people who don't love it, who actually want open borders, who want to have people on the corner of the street. And personally, no, I don't think anybody here is for that. So, you know, thank God that nothing happened, and thank God that we were able to, without President Trump, honestly. And thank God for you know, Border Patrol, thank God for customs, thank God for the policemen, thank God for law enforcement, period. Because without any rules, anything at all, things will go downhill. 100% we are doing, that's why we need to look at it. We need to know what people, want, and what people need. Well, needs before wants. Because if we get wants, then we don't have that. That even in a small area, a lot of things happen. You know what I mean? So, honestly, like, that's all I have to say. Being from the border, it's chilly sometimes.
So, Ms. Pino, as an influencer, how can people follow your story? Because you have a strong testimony of what happens or how it is to live in a border city and the effects that it can have on a family, the effects it can have on the economy. How can people get to know you and your story and the story of Eagle Pass? Are you on Instagram? Are you on TikTok? How can people view your story?
Well, I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok, at Mexican Thelma. Follow me, I talk about everything. I'm not for the LGBTQ, I'm not for the Shakira law, I'm not for the tequila, I'm sorry, but like, I'm not for that, you know what I mean? I'm not for the transitioning, conservative, I'm very old school. I like things done lawfully, and I don't like lawlessness. And on top of that, as a Latina in America, with everything going on, personally, I think we need to find ourselves. Who do we stand and what do we stand for? Because if we don't define ourselves and we're going to keep us, they just do that, it's okay. Literally, I'm not part of that, I'm sorry. I'm from America, and that's it. Okay, thank you very much.
So she touched on a lot of great points. Border security, we know how important it is to have our country secure. She touched on the safety of our communities. So with that, I want to leave y'all with this. Y'all heard from a wide range of candidates today. You heard from someone who's running for county judge. You heard from a city councilman here in Baytown. You heard from someone who's running to represent the party in Harris County. You heard from someone who's running for state representative. With that, keep that in mind. Go out into your community, talk to your neighbor. Pick up the phone, call your friends or your sister, your brother, your mother. Let them know that there is a primary election coming up. Let them know how important it is to get integrity-driven patriots like the ones that we heard here today. And again, a quick recap. Mr. Orlando Sanchez, he's running for county judge. Mr. Don Hooper, he's running for county chair for the Republican Party. Mr. Frank Salazar, he's running for state rep in 143. We heard from a city councilman who, although he already got reelected, we hope to keep him with his values in that position. So again, this table up here has literature, or reach out to the candidates themselves. My name again is Carmen Cavazos. I'm the CEO of the Saturday Menudo Club. We will be back here out in Baytown, and I will get with Mr. Griffin on that. But we want to involve the community. We want to make sure that this club stands resolved, and we are that bridge between bringing resources together for the people, connecting them with good candidates, integrity-driven candidates, and letting y'all know we hear you. We're with you. So with that, I wrap up. Remember, May 2nd, we're going to have Cinco de Mayo celebration at El Tiempo. It's going to be in close to downtown. It's Navigation Boulevard in El Tiempo. It's going to be from 12 to 3. We're going to have a singer, Hope, the gentleman's name? Luis Ramirez. Luis Ramirez. And then we're also going to have Folklorio. Am I saying that right? So it's going to be a fantastic celebration. It's not going to be your typical meeting, but we're going to have an award ceremony to recognize those that have accomplished so much for our communities. With that, I leave you. Thank you again for coming. We hope to see you again in Baytown. Goodbye. For real. I've been reposting everything that Bert sends me that I see that she posts. I put it out there. So the first hour, I think it's like from 10 and 12 right here. So we're going to try to do like the first hour just fluff and then we'll see the board towards the end. That Mexican though. Yeah. Mr. Griffin, I need to get with you before you leave.
What time?
No sé qué tan grande, pero we're going to recognize you. Oh my God, that's an idea. We got to make a statement call. Yes, let's take a picture. Let me get
I stay away from that because it's not the best thing I can do.
Okay, we're at y'all. Pick a spot.
Congress, I talk.
This is a kid.
Don Orr,
We'll do right here, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't yet. I have to make sure.
Well, I would do it now because, yeah, it would take a long time to get all that.
The gentleman, can I get y'all over here? Mom, why? Easy, yo. What did I do?
tighten up, like the military. Tighten up, tighten up.
Like we actually
Tighten up, y'all.
like we actually like each other.
Ready?
Wait a minute.
Come on.
Orlando, you need to get in here too.
Yeah, get your butt in here.
You're covering Frank's head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Okay, we let him in right here. Okay, he wants to hide.
Y'all let me know when y'all ready, because I don't know how to do this shit. Alright. Y'all ready?
Ready.
Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman?
Judge, seem to be? Oh, yeah? Cuba. Okay. You both like chicken and rice, right? Yeah. Let's go for it. I was ready
I see he posted a video last night.
That's how you do it. I'm so bored. Oh, wow.
She's turned out.
Oh, no, I don't have any